All right. Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're going to be looking at something, well, kind of heavy, honestly.
Hmm.
Teacher burnout. And we're using this excerpt, kind of a, Burnout 101.
Right.
But it's really just about the signs of it. We're not, getting into the causes or anything like that today.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be a really, I don't know, an important one for anybody listening who is in education or,
Yeah.
knows a teacher or just, honestly, anybody who works a job that can be demanding. I think there's stuff for everybody here, really.
Absolutely.
So to break it all down, I've got an expert here.
Hi.
And when we throw around this word burnout, I mean, it's got to be more than just being tired, right? Like, what are we really talking about here?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely goes beyond just needing a vacation, right? Burnout is, it's like this state of just chronic stress,
Hmm.
and it really hits you on every level, like emotionally, physically, and even mentally. And, when you think about it, the demands on teachers are just immense.
Yeah.
They're constantly giving so much emotionally to these kids, the pressure to perform, you know, get those test scores up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no surprise that burnout is so common in teaching.
Right.
It's like this slow burn that if it's not addressed, it can really impact a teacher's well-being and even how well they teach.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So this excerpt we're looking at, it lays out 6 signs.
Okay.
So let's walk through them one by one, see what we think. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. So number 1, emotional exhaustion.
Mm.
So that's got to be like more than just, I need a nap.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, imagine feeling just drained emotionally,
Mhm.
like completely empty,
Yeah.
even after the weekend, like your emotional battery is just constantly running low
Oh, wow.
because you're giving so much of yourself all the time to
Yeah.
your work, to the students, to their parents sometimes even,
Oh.
there's just nothing left.
Huh.
And that can even affect like a teacher's ability to think clearly in the classroom, make good decisions,
Oh, wow.
And it can even impact the whole classroom environment.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that feeds right into the second sign, decreased job satisfaction.
I mean, when you're feeling that emotionally exhausted, it's really hard to enjoy anything,
Mhm.
Things that you used to love about teaching, like planning your lessons, connecting with the kids. It all starts to feel like a chore.
Yeah.
And that passion that got you into teaching in the first place,
Yeah.
it starts to fade, and you just feel like you're going through the motions.
It's really sad to think about.
Yeah, and studies have actually found that teachers who are experiencing burnout are more likely to feel, trapped in their job,
Mm.
and they don't see their work as meaningful anymore.
Wow, that's heartbreaking, really.
It is, yeah.
And you talk about losing that connection with the work, losing that passion.
Yeah.
That leads right into physical fatigue, which I would never guess would be a sign of burnout, honestly.
Yeah, this one can surprise people, because we tend to think of stress as like
Yeah.
just a mental thing, right?
Right.
But it really affects us physically too.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're constantly stressed, your body's producing all these hormones like cortisol.
Okay.
And over time, that can lead to feeling tired all the time, headaches,
Yeah.
trouble sleeping,
Mm.
and even a weaker immune system.
So this is like a real flashing red light.
Yeah, it's like your body's trying to tell you, hey, something's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta listen to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, when you're physically and emotionally exhausted,
Yeah.
motivation's got to take a hit.
It does. Yeah, that's the next sign we see, that loss of motivation.
So you're saying instead of being excited to come up with a new lesson,
Right.
you kind of just stick to the same old routine.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't have the energy to go above and beyond anymore.
Mhm.
And that can create this cycle. You
Mhm.
feel less effective, so you're even less motivated and so on.
Right.
And it's hard to break free from that.
And so then how does that, that lack of motivation, the exhaustion, how does that start to affect a teacher's, outlook, their attitude?
Well, that can lead to cynicism and detachment, which is the fifth sign.
Oh, wow.
I remember reading something a teacher said. She said, I used to care so much, but now it feels like I'm just going through the motions. Like she didn't have that connection with her students anymore.
That's really sad.
It is, yeah.
And I guess it's kind of a defense mechanism, right?
Yeah.
Protect yourself from getting hurt more.
Right. It is a way of protecting yourself, but it can have some negative consequences too, you know?
Mm.
Because when you're feeling cynical,
Yeah.
it's really hard to create a positive learning environment for your students. You might be less patient with them, you know, less understanding,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you might not see their potential as clearly.
So the last one then, feelings of ineffectiveness.
Right.
I can imagine what that's like, but walk me through that a little bit.
Sure. So imagine you're putting everything you've got into your work.
Yeah.
You know, you're putting in long hours, you're trying your best,
Yeah.
but you still feel like you're not making a difference.
Mm.
It's like a punch in the gut, you know?
Yeah.
It can really hurt your self-esteem and it can lead to feeling hopeless.
So it's like this negative cycle, right?
Right.
Like you're exhausted, so you're less effective,
Exactly.
but then because you feel ineffective, you get even more exhausted.
Exactly. It's like a downward spiral.
And I guess it's rarely just one of these things, right? Like they all kind of feed into each other.
Right, exactly. They all kind of work together to create this like perfect storm of burnout, you know?
So for our listeners, I mean, we've just gone through these 6 signs. Have you ever felt any of these yourselves in your work, whatever it is you do? Or maybe you've seen it in a friend, a coworker,
Right.
because, this isn't just a teacher thing. This is a human thing.
Absolutely.
And as we wrap up here, thinking about burnout, I mean, what can we do, as individuals or even as a society
Yeah.
to support teachers, to help them not just survive, but really thrive? Let us know what you think. Keep diving deep, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.